Okay, hello. I just had to drop today a dribble guide, because soon there will be a G League dropping for Kiseki, and, well, I did dribble guide, and I think it'd be really unfair if I didn't drop a guide on how to do offense. I'm also going to be doing an extremely advanced dribbling guide. I'm going to go into Lisnakes, which is probably one of the most important mechanics in the game right now, especially in the current meta. And since I don't really have a second person, this is going to be a little awkward, but bear with me because I will be showing you some advanced off-ball techniques and how to guard certain plays. So I'm going to start with some basic stuff, just in general. Someone, try not to jump if you see someone do a fake. If someone waits a second, there's a fair chance that they're either out of stamina, it's a free steal, or they're actually baiting you. That's what I do a lot. So for example, if someone were to like do this, try not to jump. You definitely want to do your best. If someone starts dribbling a lot in one place, it's either they're about to, like, for example, they'll just like be on 3 and like do this. Not really dribbling, but they dribble. Sometimes they'll just fade, and sometimes I get my stamina back up. I'm on SF currently. Or sometimes they'll just start dribbling plays. Do a sideways drive. Well, kind of sold, but you get the idea. And so whenever someone starts dribbling rapidly in play, try to get close. And there's a really important off-ball technique. Let me lose the ball in hand. Switch to blue team. And that's double dashing. Very effective on SF. Oh yeah, I should probably go over the best defensive positions. Off ball, PG is really good. They also, the one problem with PG is they aren't really the best at guarding PFs, and if it's early game, they can't really guard shooting guards. Then SFs, they're just PGs but can jump a little higher. They have actual offense, though they aren't required like a PG. And then centers, which have high jump height, so they can actually space out and guard multiple people. Main problem is for the ideal build, you either have to have low stamina and high speed, so you'll run out pretty quickly, or lower your strength for more speed, etc. Then you have to do some basic stuff. So first off, I want to go over guard dashing. So it's where you press G and then Z, X, or C. So if you go Z, you guard dash to the left. Press C, you guard dash to the right. Press X, you guard dash backwards. Pretty basic. This is the most important thing to remember, because if someone does a drive to the side, the best thing you can do is just guard dash. So for this situation, I have this. So let's just say offense. Oh, sorry, I have the color code over here so you can see. Say offense is. So let's just say offense is right here. And they try, and you are right here. Some people, when they go over here, let's say they try to drift. A lot of people will try to run directly, but if they drive, you won't be able to catch up in time. So if you do a guard dash, you'll skip right to the drift, and you'll be able to jump instantly because you're already in guard mode, which is, well, very effective. But I guess one of the big problems, I'm not gonna fill, I'm going to erase, is if someone tries to do a fade. So if someone tries to do a fade, they end up moving about here, which you, unless you're a center, you aren't going to be able to make it there because they're already shooting, especially if they do a listening. So something that's really advanced is a double dash. So someone drifts, fades here, and instead of just simply doing this and trying to block them, SFs can block it too because they have high speed in the air. What you can do is C, shift, space. And a space is a drive, and of course you don't need the ball to drive. So you can do C, space, shift. My bad, that's on cooldown. Oh yeah, drive does have a pretty long cooldown, it's longer than guard dash. And you are right in their face. That's a block. I went into that. Let me just go over this right here. Okay, so now that's a block. But I guess the main problem is after someone does something like that, there's a fair chance that they'll pass off as soon as they see that you're actually aggressive on defense and know what you're doing. And when that happens, there's not much you can do, especially if they like hesitate and then get a screen and they go off again. And that's when you have to depend on teammates, which don't help much. But if you are center though, they are usually forced to pass off after this, which is also really good in low time scenarios. Also, if you have drive boost, this procs drive boost, make you move really fast temporarily, which actually lets you be able to continue marking them or even catch a pass if they pass to someone close in the situation. So that's how you guard a really simple play where you just drive to the side. Actually, let me do something else. Wish I could run. Oh yeah, I'm on the other side. So another advanced technique. Oh, actually, I should probably just mention one more time that to double dash, you press G, and then you do the direction you want to do. Press Shift and space, and then you hold Shift. You can also press G again, but it doesn't let you shift again. So I dropped this technique as soon as it gets a little harder. There's a little bit more timing. Another really advanced technique, which I would recommend learning how to my dribble guide first, because it does involve moving your camera. Actually, also I do recommend you use an FPS unlocker. It's very important to have as much FPS as possible, so you have more frames to react and better ping. Especially for this. And this is a reverse double dash. And it's very effective on SS if someone bypasses you, and it's actually very good for if someone drives past you and you hit them with this. So you press G, X, Shift, Space, and use WASD to turn your body around. And try to keep looking at the basket while you're doing it. As I said, I would recommend practicing on my dribble guide first, because I show you to do omnidirectional dribbles using WASD, which helps a lot. You can also just practice spins non-stop to get a sense of it in both directions. So I'm going to go back to this. So for example, if the offense is right here, and they were to go over here into a formless layup, right here, and you are right here. If you just tried to run past them, you are not making that angle. Like, sure, you might be able to get like right here. If you're on C, you could honestly block it, even with a single guard dash. But even then, it's actually very hard to guard dash in that direction. So, if you see someone drive deep, what you can do is do a reverse double dash to go right here. Now, it will probably look more like this. Oh yeah, also, when you're like over here, it can break a lot. Like when you're like right by the basket, it can break a lot, especially on defense. And now, that's a block. But that's one of the most important scenarios for you to be able to double dash in reverse. Honestly, it is more of like a up court neutral thing. Next, I guess I should go over Lisnakes. So Lisnakes are where I'm gonna make a guide on this later since it's pretty advanced. It's where you use WASD with a drive and omnidirections. I don't know how to fuck this up when this is like my main thing. For example, it can look like this, right? Into a fade. And to guard a Lisnake, let me go over here to an example. So let's just say they do a Lisnake off this line right here, and they try to move back here to Lisnake. You are not stopping this with just a guard dash. Like, I'm just gonna assume they did like a basic shot. Oh, I did double dash there. I didn't mean to, but oh my god, I'm so used to double dashing. Holy shit. My apologies for that. When someone goes to Lisnake, some people just do this. And that is an easy fade. That is just a free punch straight up. So, in this scenario, you want to double dash. So someone goes for Lisnake, you're right on them, and it's a free block and a jump. As I've stated, someone is right here, and then goes backwards there into fade right here, and you are right here. Guard dash can at best send you right here, and that's a free fade. But if you double dash, you end up going like this, and that's a free block. So now I'm gonna go over corners. So when someone's going corner, the setup is usually around here. And from this angle, it is actually surprisingly hard to guard dash. I mean, usually isn't someone waiting right here, unless it's the center, which in that case they are. And it's extremely hard to block, especially if listening. It's especially good with drift, and it's one of the best places in the score, so you need to learn how to block it. So there's really two ways to get past a corner, and that is when they're right here. Can't really guard dash effectively that far into the corner. If they use drift here, that's around this area, it's unblockable unless you're in SF. But if they, especially if they have high handles, they can go all the way over there. A guard dash is not cutting it. So what you end up having to do is this. Doing drive to the right and following their body, and most people just panic and shoot it. They don't expect you to block it. So let me show you. It's your defender. The person you're defending is right there. You're right here. And they go this way into drift. I'm just gonna make this an arrow too. So about this much area is drift. And a guard dash will only send you about here. Unless you're kind of predicting drift. Well, it will move like here about. And they have a big gap on you. But if you double dash, you can adjust it, and that's a block. Oh, my bad. I thought it was a little rusty. These are really important. And next, I'm going to finish out with some general defense tips. And first is formless. Switch teams. So generally, against formless, they're going to do one of two things. That's a Lisnake and a fade, which you can look earlier in the video. Just check that in. And then formless, actual shots. So, for example, someone will just go like this. You can lay it from here. I have floaters. Wait, do I float? I don't know if that's floater or not. And really, if you're like right in their face, it's a pretty easy angle to drive from. This is a lot easier with this. Okay. So let's just say the offense is right here. You're right here. They are going to drive, do a formless lay. Right here. And they're also going to move a little bit away from you. So you can do this in guard dash. Honestly, this is one of the things that you don't really have to double dash, especially if you're center, because you can usually line up for the formless block because you jump high enough. But a guard dash, well, you do this, and if someone does have formless, I do have a general tip. If you're trying to block them without strength, follow their body and like at all times, and try to listen for the sound cue. Like, for example, if a formless is like faking you out, honestly, don't do this. Don't sugarcoat it, please. The longer it takes, the more likely someone is to block. If you just go straight for that, it's probably gonna go in. Though if you are going against a setter, I would recommend you don't. So they're right here. Switch teams. Let's just say there's a formless user. I'm guarding them. You go right here. They shoot. When I jump, don't just stand there and jump. Hit shift and try to follow their body. You don't really want to follow the ball. You want to follow their body because their body is a hurt box who can block. And this actually goes very good for blocking fade and drift. If someone tries to fade or drift, when you're jumping, try to follow their body to make your block more accurate. That's a very important tip, especially for centers, to get blocks. And then there's like one more thing. This one is a little more minor because not as many players do this, and that's a drive into drift. I don't have drift on this account, but they'll kind of get an idea. They'll just go in straight for a shot. I guess a technique is pretty much unblockable if there isn't a center in paint. If there is, though, this is pretty blockable. I'm gonna go back on. using. Shoot this first. When someone does this, it's assuming you're in their face, so I'm not gonna have distance. Really, all you can do is this, and I honestly would not be able to do this, like, commonly. So I would personally, honestly, this is for the future generation. I just believe y'all can do this eventually. Other than that, I guess I can tell you some general tips. Try to, especially if you're center, try not to run as much because that does take pool. So just try to walk around like, well, of course, unless you like are defending, like you should probably actually run if you're defending. But like, don't help on offense too much. Just like stand in the middle court for if someone has to pass to you, like right here. And heck no, someone might just mark you for some reason because they think you have a half court and then you're set. Try to avoid using skills on offense. Your teammates should be doing that. If you're forced to like dunk or anything, you are kind of selling your team. And that is kind of generally it. I guess I'm gonna have to go cut this up into sections. Hopefully I can actually make solid sections since this wasn't as formatted as the other video. I'll make a Lisnake guide soon. Also same with a passing guide, but that's only gonna be like 5 minutes long, honestly, because it's not that complicated. Yeah, I hope you all have a good day. Subscribe please so I can hit 50 subs. That'd be pretty cool.